I'm the man, yes sir, to kill the bear barehanded so the people won't forget it. Getting money for our legal to drink. I care what a broke nigga think.
Just like the pack of Lewis.
Look, everything I do so cold. I can do this, both eyes closed. Too short, I stay on my toes. About that guap boy, anything goes. Help the bear if we outside. Help the bear if we outside. Still tipping, baby, nothing changed. I'm still grinding over here, yeah. Still sliding through my own lane. Shorty, nothing funny over here. Dallas rain everywhere around me. Dream to get money. Made it through the storm, living sunny. Dreams came true, now we eating. I got more dreams to chase, gotta reach them. Trying to put a team together like the Hunger Games. Everybody grinding because we all came from Hunger Games.
You know what it is. Late LP at OneYoungsta, hold it down, bring you that StreetGeek and NERDSoul. What is up, my people? Today, all year, coming with another wonderful episode of, that's right, On Screen. I'm excited because I have someone here that has not been here in a while, all right? In a very long time. We miss her. She's super dope. I present to you, right over here, the Ninja Cosplay.
Hello. Often imitated, never duplicated. I'm back. I'm back. I lived.
You know, she made it. She's still here.
I made it.
Tried to stop
I've
her.
arrived.
Tried to take her down. But we are here to get into Titan season 3. The finale happened. It's all over. Season 3 is done. I've gone on and I've asked a question to the chat. Is Titan season 3 better than season 2? So with that said, we're gonna get to that in a second. Going to get y'all vote on. I'll toss this to say hi. Say hi. Come on. Hi. Say hi.
There he goes. Hey, little man.
All right. So, Ninja, after the episode ended, how do you feel about season 3 as a whole? Like, just generally, are you happy about it? Are you
Lightly
mad?
it's like that scale of 1 to 5 where it's like strongly agree, strongly disagree. I'm at the slight disagree. I'm
Okay.
like, I was a little disappointed, mainly because, you know, this is the first season, I think we got the full transition to HBO. So I thought we were gonna like really get it. And then I don't think it was got completely, really. But, you know. After the season finished, I was like, oh, okay, you know, I'm not. It's a mixed bag, and now seeing that, you know, you see the pivot to the full HBO now. So they did have some kind of like tidying up and house cleaning to do after season 2, but this season still left me somewhere in the middle. Like I don't hate this season, but I also don't love it. Antoine Allen, who's in the chat right now, say they dragged the Red Hood story out too long, and I think I'll agree. There's something about the Red Hood story, the way it's. We'll see. Also, we're trying to do a Red Hood story without Batman. That's it. Right.
It's weird. We're trying to do a Red Hood story without Batman and or Joker. So we're already handicapped, and then there is some good stuff there. Yeah, it's some good stuff there, but
it's like they rushed it, but it still went on too long. Yeah. Like he was like Jason Todd was fully realizing Red Hood like by episode 2 or 3, but then he was already unmasked and already regretting what he did by like episode 5. I'm like, so the arc, like the arc didn't have any levels. So
it also seemed like he was getting ready to leave Scarecrow at one point, but then he was like, no, I'm going to come back. So it seemed like he kind of like took his power back, like, nah, I ain't going to be under the influence. And then he came right back to him.
He kicked that drug habit really easily.
True that.
he kicked that drug really easily. He was having the sweats and everything, and then he was just like, it was not a factor anymore. And furthermore, the lack of repercussions for killing Hank, I might be jumping the gun, but I'm just like, I don't know if I can be like, you a cousin again, bro. You can come back to you can get a to-go plate, but you can't come sit down and play spades. I'm like, wait. He should be invited.
No, he should be like kind of like excommunicado. You know what I'm saying? But all right, so shouts to Andrea Atkins. Andrea Atkins says, I'm done with Titans. I've given this show 3 seasons and it's still bad. There's no sense of time and the characters and story aren't making sense. Okay. I'm not against you because I felt the same way at the end of season 2. But when I saw the trailer for season 3, I was like, you know what? Son of a, I'm in. So I came back and I might be on that train, but I want to ask it to the chat and also to you, Ninja. Are you coming back for a 4th season? Because they've been greenlit for season 4. So season 4 is gonna happen.
It's coming, yeah.
Are you coming back for season 4?
Yes, with an asterisk on it. I kind of am a glutton for punishment. For I can hate watch. I can, and I kind of thrive in it. So I'm kind of going in pseudo salty about it. And then secondly, I like in TV media, I like the Teen Titans. So part of me is just like, you know, at least just like eventually they'll lean into it, and they never do. But so I keep like, it's like a bad ex. Like I'm like, they're gonna get better. They're gonna get better.
It's also tough because it's also tough because right now they have Young Justice on, which does this a lot better. Now I know. Before we get started, I know there's different rules, there's different departments. The people in animation like barely even know or even talk to the live action people. I understand, but it's tough to have both these shows running and you look at it like a youth team getting it right and then a youth team and you're just like, I'm trying hard to care, but I don't care. I care about some of it, but then I don't care about the rest. And this season ends up being, once again, just like kind of in the middle, like a mixed bag where it's like, this was cool and that was kind of like, like the whole thing about killing Dick Grayson was just like brushed past. And there's so much that I don't. But let's get into the meat of it.
It's got to be one thing at a time because it's too much.
Yes.
It's too much.
Let's get into the meat. Much. Let's talk about Jason Todd. One thing I do like is how they handled him and his insecurity and his fear following up what happened in season 2. Do I think that it should have affected him the way it did? No. I kind of think he should have been over that by now because of the life he lives, but that also might be it might also be a reflection of someone who like tries to act tough, but they're super soft on the inside, which we kind of see. But I do like the fact that we followed through from the 2nd season and there were repercussions of what happened and how he felt. I felt that it seemed real enough when he was with the doctor and stuff and going back and forth and kind of his feelings, even with Bruce, when Bruce was like, look, you know, I want you to get help because, you know, like I see you as my real son. Like, I don't want you to be like my weapon or anything. So I enjoyed that about Jason Todd. But the kind of like arrogant kind of whack part of him that was all over season 2 was still kind of here, but like in a more pouty mood. But how were there any positives from Jason this season?
Honestly, no. But to me, I feel like I don't think we were ready for the Red Hood storyline. Due to the transition of season 2 to season 3, we had Jason Todd with Rose and all of that. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, we're not going to acknowledge this person exists at all this season for whatever reason. And then we're going to jump into, you know, this one scene of Jason Todd's death and then this and this and this. It just seemed a little disjointed. So if we had saw maybe him coming to realization towards the end of the season, maybe just pushing it back a little bit, maybe that would have helped some, but it's just so jarring because people have this certain thought of Red Hood And then they have the thought of this Jason Todd and Titans, and it's just a little off. It's a little off. So I'm a little, I just don't think it hit the way it should have
And
overall.
you touched on something that also, I believe Andre Atkins touched on, was the time. The sense of time in the show is very weird. They did a time jump in season 2 and 3 where you're like, the way they do it, I don't mind time jumps, but they do it in a way where you're like, hold up, did I miss like 2 or 3 episodes? Like, you're like, hold up. Like, because when we come into this season, we're like, hold up, y'all are like a fully realized team. Like, oh, no, that's not how we left y'all. So what is going on? Like, the city loves y'all. Y'all are doing interviews on cable news and stuff. Like, I was just like, what? Oh, what did I miss? Is there like a couple episodes that I didn't see? And they did that in the beginning of season 2 as well. The second episode of season 2, because the first episode, they kind of like wrapped up season 1. So the second episode of season 2, you were like, hold up, what? Am I missing an episode? And that is a drag on the show. But to Jason, the only parts that I actually dug of him were his moments with the doctor and his moments with Bruce. Anything with the Scarecrow just seemed a little much. And I kind of cared about the Scarecrow. You know, sort of. But
I have some, I don't know, there's a grievance with Scarecrow for me. Because on one hand, I'm watching the actor and I feel like the actor is trying to meet the criteria as best as he can. But at the same time, I'm like, I think he was some of the weaker of the villains so far. Yeah, so I'm like, he's doing all of the things and all of it should make sense, but it's still just not, it's kind of like a not my Scarecrow moment. It's like, it's still not quite, it's not quite what I expected.
The sliced up face didn't help him. My biggest problem with Scarecrow is that, and I know before we get here, I know villains be having like all of the resources, right? But we talked about this before, guys. If you watch the show, you know what I'm saying? Also, you know, thank y'all for rolling through. See y'all still voting. Thank you. How does this dude, not only, he controls all the TV screens, all the cell phones, he be in on your calls, on your radio. Like, dude has access to everything. All right. And I'm just like, my dude, like, it's one of those villain things where it's like, well, who's funding this? Like, where is your money man? How do you get all these things? Like, you just got out of jail. I know you was, you know, you Scarecrow and you're supposed to be super duper Scarecrow, right? But like, this dude got the police, he got all the TVs, he's you know, having to hook up with Jason Todd ain't enough. Like, how did you get all these other things? And they never ran through any of that. Like, you know,
they just showed one scene of him being intimidated to some crime lords. It was like, oh, well, that's how he took over the crime syndicate. It's like,
yeah,
okay, sure. I guess we're here. Now.
And the sliced up face thing was, and it's weird. He was one of those villains who had a plan for everything, and I didn't like the way you either.
Say that. I like the way you word that, because in the finale, right, you know, he has this big convoluted the clues and the riddles, if you will, and then Dick decides, well, I'm just going to ignore them. And it's like, you didn't think of the idea that he would just try to storm Wayne Manor. You didn't think, you're so smart, you didn't think that they would just try to come, and then they literally just like one punch to, you just sit there by himself. Like, you thought all these contingencies, but you didn't think that just makes no sense.
Well, I guess he didn't. I guess he was like, well, you know, I guess he figured Jason Todd either won't work for them or they'll never accept him back. So I don't really have to worry about it, because anyone else just walking up, they'll just shoot at him. But
it just seemed kind of flimsy. And also, they wrapped this up way too fast. They did they had 12 episodes of like Scarecrow being a man. Then all of a sudden, Scarecrow just ain't the man no more. And guys, trust me, I'm gonna get to some good stuff. There are things that I liked about this. You know, there are things that I like. But on to what is it? Somebody brought up Ra's al Ghul, saying Silhouetted Animator said Scarecrow because they can't use Ra's for some reason. Yeah, it's like it's just this show is frustrating because I'm not against the actors and actresses. I'm not against their suit design. I'm not even against the set design, really. Some of the way that they're doing the dialogue, I'm not against that either. But it's just it doesn't like work when you're watching it. The Deathstroke storyline last season, I think, is better than the Red Hood storyline this season. The only thing is that the Deathstroke got kind of undercut by like extra shenanigans with like karaoke singing and stuff. So, oh man, I don't know. Back to the question. I don't know if this season is better than season 2. I mean,
I don't think so. Personally, I don't think so. For one, Deathstroke made sense, obviously, as a big nemesis.
Deathstroke made sense.
It made sense. And the new characters that are introduced kind of made sense in the context, except for Dr. Light. That's a whole nother conversation.
That was like, hold on, what?
It's just something about it just made more sense. It's like, okay, this is a nemesis. We have, a backstory that kind of integrates the Titans. It was a nemesis of the Titans, so it made sense. Versus now, it's like, okay, this guy really just wants Bruce Wayne, but he's just got to deal with the Titans, and it just didn't feel.
He's got to deal with the Titans because he does. It's disheartening. As Antoine Allen comes through and says the writing and story is simply doo-doo. I'll go on. Let's move on to something that I like. Blackfire and Starfire this season, their like kind of minor story, I really enjoyed. I did. The kind of hating each other to a resolution of like, when we might not be having brunch on Sundays, but we're not at each other's throats anymore. We don't want to kill one another anymore. So I think that's a place where we can see kind of like a further plot go with maybe their team ups, their togetherness. Because like last season, I really enjoyed seeing Starfire and Donna together. I thought their kind of like lethal weapon-ish kind of activity was kind of cool. So I think that's a plus on this season. A plus on this season is unfortunately the B story with Starfire and Blackfire, and then kind of like writing the history of kind of like how Starfire got her powers and that she did already have other powers. They just had, I guess, been latent or whatever, and they were stolen from Blackfire and everything, and then setting things right, and that's cool. And even her relationship with Superboy, which I was like, huh? But then I was like, I guess I kind of get it. You know what I'm saying? I would prefer, once again, if I could, before people coming in here talk about Dr. Umar, I would prefer it to be a brother. But I know, there's already too many black people on the show. You know Dwayne McDuffie's rule. If there's 3 black people on the show, then it's a black show. We've already got 2, and you got that kind of like minor V that works for Argus. So they were like, it can't be a black show. So we can't have a brother on here that's like, yo, Blackfire, what's up? I see you walking down these streets, girl. Looking good. No. I'm just saying. But I'm not against Superboy. Superboy ain't did nothing wrong to me. You know what I'm saying? He ain't did nothing wrong.
That bromance was just a little shoehorned. Let's just call it as what it is. It was shoehorned. It, like, in theory, is fun to think about, but it's just like, oh, it's like, oh, we're fooling around. Okay. And then it's like, no, we actually really care about each other. We want to be together. I'm like, all that right in the middle of the finale, I'm like, okay, I don't know if I got the bandwidth for this, because I'm already like feeling the step that Blackfire is just like cool, like she's cool, she won the game, like I'm still processing that, and I don't know if I ever get over it, but here we are.
Oh man,
this is too much, because you got this whole arc in the middle of the finale while they're trying to take down the villain, while Donna's telling Tim that he can't fight. And I'm like, so it actually made, if you take the scene of them actually taking down the villain, the scenes, it doesn't even make the majority of the episode. So it doesn't feel, the resolution doesn't feel very weighted, because we have these convoluted beasts.
Yes. And real quick, just so you know, you're like freezing and breaking up a little bit. But to your point about the B stories, Donna, I think Antoine Allen said in the chat, I might be misquoting you. Someone said it, like, yo, they didn't even remark on her being back from the dead, or like Dick coming back from, they were just like, all right, what up, yo? like nobody was really tripping on that. Nobody was like worried at all. They were just like, hey, he back, and that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? He back. If he back, he back. He not, he not. And the funny thing is, when you have, okay, they live in a crazy world, okay? They live in a crazy world. I know this, there's superheroes, there's aliens, there's magic, there's demons, there's, you know, the people like Scarecrow, like just regular people that's crazy. You know, you got all kinds of stuff, right? But sometimes if someone's dead and they come back, you should be like, oh, snap. Like, yo, Donna, yo, you back, girl. Like, yo, I ain't seen you. Like, where you been? Like, I
don't know if you can hear me now.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. The way the show handles death this season was just a little bit of, it was a little nuts between, you know, Hank and Tim and Donna, and then, you know, Raven trying to resurrect Donna and basically disrespecting Themyscira, which was unforgivable. But then, like you said, Donna comes back and no one's like, Dick comes back. They're like, oh, we threw him in the Lazarus pit. I'm like, that's a big deal. Like, people they don't just come out the Lazarus pit and they're just like normal, like it's any other day. And it's like,
they treated like they ran him through the car wash.
Yeah. Just took a little dip. Yeah, I'm like, wait. And then we're going to make a little rainstorm using all of our powers together, because that makes sense. And then all these people get resurrected by Lazarus water. I'm like, shouldn't we have a big situation on our head by these half resurrected people?
I thank you for saying, I was going to hold that to the end, but all right, let's get into this. Once again, before we get started, I know we got pseudoscience, we got aliens, demons, crazy people, all kinds of wild stuff. But when Superboy drew that, like, I don't know, piece of dust on the screen, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what that is. Is it a Furby? I don't know. What is that thing? So anyway, he drew like a ball with just dust on it or something, and like arrows. And I was like, I don't know what that is. It don't look scientific. But then when homie said, we just go on, like, throw the ball in the air and make like purple rain. I know we ain't got, look, like Lady Lisa told me, they ain't got the rights for that song. So like,
I said the same thing when I was watching it, and I was like, both of them say Purple Rain, knowing that Prince was damn well not gonna let them use his music. They can't
not
even
for a scene like
it.
that.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So all right, they purified the waters of Lake Minnetonka. All right, and then because you know, Rachel pulled all the water out. Pulled all the evil out. All right, so she pulled the evil out the water. All right, then they took the water, they grabbed up the water, they put it in the sky, and they made the water rain. All right, and then when the water came down, it hit the people, and they didn't have to go through bad stuff. They just woke up. In theory, it sounds like, this will work. But then when you look at people that went through the Lazarus pit,
it won't like just drops of rain that hit them, man. Like they had to be submerged in that. Like I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. And then also on a long-term tip, like that water also went into the soil. So like what are we like? I don't.
This is not exactly.
This is one of those things like NERDSoul, stop asking questions because you about to go somewhere.
You just have to accept the shenanigans.
Somewhere where it can't go.
Just call it shenanigans. It's shenanigans, and we just got to accept it because they're not going to address it or make. This is not obviously. There's not going to be a long-term effect off of this over the course of the story. But it just like to me, it's like, did y'all really think this through? Because every time we've seen the Lazarus Pit or we've seen death or something, it's like they I think they brought it all up too soon. It's like so within the black and white film-esque like limbo or whatever, purgatory and the Lazarus Pit, they have all these ways to just bring people back. It's like, well, now you're taking away some of the most critical, like the things that actually help, like happened in the show that felt concrete. Y'all are basically telling me that they can fight their way back, they could jump off the train, we could put them in the Lazarus Pit, but there won't be repercussions if we put them in the pit. I'm like, okay, guys, well, just okay, here we are.
Antoine Allen said, yeah, you got to be submerged and you come out a little crazy at first. Just a little crazy, just a little bit. Ain't no big thing.
Even if it was a little nuts.
A little bit crazy. That's all right. Just a little bit crazy. Because
Dick
Dick Grayson came out like
that he died.
Yeah, Dick Grayson came out like, whoo. All right, well, let's stop Scarecrow. Like
even for once, even Raven for once was like, hold up, bro, wait. And he was like, nah, we gotta go meet me here. And she was like, wait a minute, wait. If Raven's like, hold up, this is too fast, too soon, then maybe something's off.
And it's because back to what you said and what a commenter said, I can't remember, maybe it was Antoine Allen, but basically they dragged out the Red Hood story. So now we got like 2 episodes to wrap all this stuff up when technically we should have wrapped up the Red Hood storyline maybe 5 to 6 episodes in and then spent the rest of it going after Scarecrow and then maybe dealing with our feelings about Red Hood and whether even though he's helping out, do we want him helping? Do we want him around us? Any of that? Because they dragged out that Red Hood story. Because when he left him, I was like, oh, okay, cool. He left him. He's on his own. He's not like, under his spell no more. Then he came back and I was like, yo, what? Why'd he leave then? There was a lot of time wasting. And I think in 13 episodes, we could have essentially probably told 2 stories in this, maybe even 3 that interconnect and not have to rush a finale either. Because we rushed Themyscira, they were just like, all right, look, she back. Like, hey, fix these rocks real quick. All right, Donna back, it's all good. And then it was like, oh, Tim Drake back too. Cool, he's in the hospital. And also, all right, so we've pretty much covered Red Hood, Starfire, Blackfire. We kind of touched on Superboy. Let's talk about Tim Drake real quick. Where's everybody's feelings on Tim Drake? Because me, I'm like, all right, if you don't get this, like, okay, I'm not saying that Tim Drake I said it in the other show. I'm not saying that Tim Drake has to be The Rock. But Tim Drake, when they showed him, it was one episode, he was walking around. I was like, you see those low legs? What he gonna do with them things? Can't kick nobody with those legs. He needs some strength.
I couldn't get over now. I'm not as versed in the comics, especially when it comes with Tim Drake and everything. But I'm like, the way his parents were executed were almost infuriating. I'm like, what? So your dad's a cop, but is out the game and you got shot and then you come back and then they're like, well, we don't want you involved in this. And we didn't know you had a supercomputer down here and your cousin's out here hawking guns and it's about gang life, but he can come over and eat dinner. But now you need to go save Gotham. Wait, and
they got the most multicultural family in the world. Like, all right, so Mama's Asian, I guess, or maybe Latino. They don't really nail it down what she is. Then Dad's black, cousin's an Asian dude. He's like, I'm just like, look, I know y'all trying to hit y'all marks and check y'all boxes, but my dude, y'all casting call for this family a little strange.
I'm pretty sure the mom is Asian. They were running some type of Asian restaurant, like a
so
all
right, so cool.
Like
then I let the Asian cousin slides.
So
because it's cousin on the mama side.
Yeah.
So mama side, all right. So cousin on the mama side, cool. We've closed that loop. So the family loop is fine. It did come off kind of weird because I was like, when I first saw Tim Drake, I was like, oh, I don't really focus on the Twitter sphere. Because like somebody said, Twitter ain't real, but still, like, but when I saw that dude came out looking like a young Al B. Sure, I was like, oh, there's gonna be some people mad about this. I was like, there's gonna be some people mad about this. I was like,
they have to make everybody look pretty because once they become of age, they're gonna start, being with each other. You see, they had Raven with her little A cups out to her. I guess she hit 18.
Yo,
so I'm like,
Raven
oh my God,
came
guys.
through with the breast window, and I was like, hold on, what? Why is she? What? I was like, I even told Lisa, I was like, they sure is stylish when they like fighting these crimes. Like, I mean, you got things to do. Like, she was like, hold on, let me stop. There's a sale at Kohl's. Like, it's like. It's like, come on, man. Y'all ain't got. I mean,
someone literally texted me. Someone texted me and said, Raven, in this last finale looks like an outfit I've seen you wear. I think you got in your closet. Put it on and call it a cosplay. And I'm like, well, I'm not about to put on a busted wig.
Oh. Okay. All right. Look, Raven's wig has been. It's been
a wrap.
It's been inconsistent.
I don't understand why they keep giving her ringlets. I don't know.
Yo, I don't know why they
can't figure out what color her hair is. I don't understand. I don't get it. Why she wear all these little long cardigans?
Yeah, she be rocking.
Only wears the hood, like,
Raven be having cardigans
like, okay.
on deck.
You get it right,
Silhouetted Animator said characters in the show don't even feel real. What was up? Oh, I see you. I don't know what you're doing, but I see you. But characters in the show don't even feel real. They exist to give exposition dialogue and curse like a drunk sailor. Yeah, they curse to the point where it's like, I get it. You're on HBO. We get it. It's kind of like I was just kind of like in Bridgerton when they started having like too many sex scenes. I was like, okay, I get it. It's Netflix. I get it. I get it. Like, we understand, but like, we get it. Like, you want to compete with HBO in that respect. We get it, Netflix, but you don't have to like just move on with the story because it's starting to get boring. But no.
You want to know what doesn't feel real is that they clearly stated that Gar is butt naked whenever he transforms.
Yep.
But we saw multiple times in the finale that he transformed and he just had on pants afterwards. And I'm like, well, that's not consistent.
He walked around the corner, got his pants on already.
Changed. I'm like, pick. You can't, that's a little thing to be inconsistent about. I'm like, y'all could have just had him keep his clothes on the beginning in season 1 and we would have had no difference. So now y'all didn't think that through. Now y'all got to figure out when he has to go fight someone, how he's going to get his clothes on. Guess he's going to go off to a bush.
Now I want to say, when he flew into the window, I thought that was funny. Like I did think that was funny, but yeah, you're right. This dude changes, come back home, he got clothes on. I did see how he kept the abs out when Raven came through though. I saw that.
Oh yeah.
And he was like, because he knows it's still a chance there. He knows it's still an opportunity. Look, there's no one else our age. We in this house alone.
Oh, sorry. I didn't hear
you. No, I was just saying, we in this house alone. I gotta stop.
The ship is gonna sail. We know that. I mean, that's canon of it. But I did like though when he turned into a bat. Like he said before he did the second time, he was like, "It makes me feel funky, this and that, whatever." And then when he got out of it, and he was Dick told him that something was on the left side, and I saw him like doing this, and I was like, Gar is not that off. Like, why would he not? And then I was like, oh, is it because like, you know, blind is a bad, he's trying to get his get. I was like, that was a nice little attention to detail when he was off, or he was trying to get, I was like, okay, little like I'm
That
like,
was
okay,
nice.
you can't pay attention to detail, then do it when it's blatantly obvious too, then.
Yeah,
So I did think
whenever
that was a
he
little
changes
neat.
back, he automatically got pants. Like pants be on there all the time. Like God
I
just
guess he
let it-
doesn't fit the full frontal criteria yet, and I'm fine with that. I don't need that in my DC shows.
I mean, just let you know, God, just let it hang, man. Just let it out there. You know what I'm saying? Show him what you're working with. Show him what you got. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you know what I'm saying? Just let it fly. You know what I'm saying? You're green. You know what I'm saying? You're doing things.
That doesn't make it better. The being green part doesn't make it better. I promise you. That sounds like a whole different.
All right, so okay. I got a question to you and the chat. You know what? I'm gonna ask Jenna James, if you're still up in here getting your lurk on and chilling out. Why is Hank better when he's dead? I was like, oh snap, he's kind of cool now. Maybe he just needed to blow up.
I think Hank has, once you die, that's going to change your perspective on things.
True.
It's kind of like Hank living by his own rules. So, like, he can drink now, and it's not a big thing about him drinking or whatever. He's not tied down by, like, wanting to have to do this or live up to this or dealing with this pain. So, I think he's just kind of accepted things for what it is. And, like, this is the kind of person I am, and I find it that I am doing a difference here, but I'm not doing a difference constrained by Dawn or the Titans or my football team or whatever it is. So I think there's a bit of freedom there for him, which was a nice air of redemption, especially at the end when he got to see his bro. I was like, dang, I actually was a little, I thought that was one little
I was like, that was
right
nice
there.
touch.
I got
That
in
was a
that
nice
moment
touch.
because I thought I was like, okay, you know, but it's just the fact that it was like Hank died, and then it's just like you said with Donna coming back, it's just like nobody's really letting that way. Don's like, I'm peacing out the parents, and then everybody's just like, okay, like, okay.
So with that said, I've always thought Dawn was whack. I'm glad she's gone. Hopefully she does not return. I don't know what it is about how they write Dawn. I do not understand. I don't get it. Because I'm sure she's cool. She ain't never did nothing to me. You know what I'm saying? But she's whack.
There's no
whack.
role for her. There's no role for her.
She's whack with Hank and she's whack with Dick. Like she's whack everywhere.
Well, she's kind of like a judgy mom that doesn't really have a resolution for it. So it's like you got the mother role a little bit to the younger ones in Donna and Starfire, but very two different versions. Because Donna's kind of like drunk auntie, I don't want these kids, but I'll take care of you and yell at you. And Starfire's like, I care about you, but I beat your ass. Like they have certain dynamics versus like Dawn's always soft and tender, but she's always condescending and not really providing any solutions either. So it's like, well, you're just there. So it's like, you're with Hank and then you're not, you're not, you judge Dick and da-da-da. You're telling like, I need you to be the Robin you could be. And then it's like, well, then that Robin wasn't good enough. It's like, okay, Dawn, well.
Yeah, it's like,
I don't know, girl.
Like, she was like, I need you to be Batman. I need you to be Robin. I need you to do all these things. It's like, why don't you do something? Then the thing you do, yeah, I said it. The thing you do is kill your man. When everybody told you to wait, they told you can't. That's why you can't listen to nobody. That's why. But when she left, I was like, good, stay gone. Don't never come back. Don't put that suit on no more. Stay gone. You know what I'm saying? It could.
She had this whole big thing where she didn't want Hank to be a vigilante, but then was doing it behind his back, and they got mad and he found out. I'm like, girl, what you want? He needed it. She needed it as a form of therapy, but that was kind of Hank's only source of therapy.
Thank you.
Because he was an addict, so he needed it, I guess, maybe arguably a little more. So it's like, well, the pot calling the kettle. situation with her a lot. So it's kind of like, okay, judgy mom, we don't need a judgy mom in this dynamic.
Yeah, we don't need that. What
we don't need
you to do is back on up just a little.
She was up here in DC. I'm glad she gone to Paris. I'll say it that way.
So, the one that this show spends the most time on, which is understandable, is Nightwing. You know what I'm saying? He's the leader of the team. Spend the most time with him. I like him as an actor. I like the fight scenes and stuff. Even wasn't mad at the side story with Barbara that we got. But this show is still trying too hard to like draw Batman parallels. Like, let him be his own man, please. Like, they still ain't letting him be his own man. Now, at the end of this season, he got the RV, so it's like, nah, let's be, more of a family and not like be jet setting. So I get how he's trying to be like the fun dad, you know what I'm saying? And don't get me wrong, that road trip for 44 hours is probably going to be better than the 2 weeks that we spent in Gotham. But there's something about it's like they don't know how to have Dick Grayson be Dick Grayson without trying to
without the
Batman.
mantle. Yeah. That's a very good point. I think a couple of things to that is that for the most part, by the time Dick Grayson becomes Nightwing and he fully, they even said in finale, you found Nightwing, then that needs to be what it is. At that point, he holds his own. He leads the Titans. He's not necessarily associated with Batman as heavily. So that's not always in the back of his mind. So I'm hoping that if nothing else, that we get that in season 4. Because first, like, the Batman we got in this universe is not what's up to begin with. So I'm tired of it, to be honest. But secondly, with him as a leader,
he works in a Batman Beyond kind of way, but it's not Batman Beyond. So we're in this weird flux of they don't want to show the suit, but they know you can't really do this show without Batman, at least in the way that they're doing it. And
it's like a show with Bruce Wayne, but not a show with Batman. So the fact that you're always getting compared, it's like, is he always getting just compared to Bruce Wayne, even though we of course know it's the same guy, but you don't put it together all the way. So
yeah, because we never see Batman, and I thought that either the penultimate or the last episode would have been a good time to see him come back and like retake his home from Scarecrow, even in plain clothes, or even in something like, all black gear with like just, a face mask on or something like that. But we didn't get that, and the Titans take it back, which is okay. But
I think he needed redemption. This season to make it make sense, because we see that he's, upset, Jason Todd dies, so he gets his lip back on the Joker, and then he goes into a dark place, which always happens, which is fine. So then he retreats, and then he gets into a darker place, attempt suicide, all that, and then we don't really see him really again until he's just like with Donna, and he's like, okay, y'all did it. Like, there's not really a point where he reflects
like Donna
on
saves
where
him,
he was,
and then he
does
disappears
something
again.
to help. Yeah. So
it's
I guess.
But
I mean, that just goes in line with like Nightwing. Like, he does some pretty messed up stuff to his team, like leaving them out of the loop, or lying to them, or blowing kryptonite in their face, or beating Beast Boy's butt last season, and to the point where Beast Boy was like, I don't want to see this person. Then also he just got over it. So but
at the same time, he beat Beast Boy because wasn't he under the spell at the time?
Yeah, he was under the thing, but
how to let that slide?
Yeah, no, I'm letting that part slide. But it's the fact that after the fact, they chose to acknowledge that Beast Boy was like, I have some type of trauma from this. But then so it could have even been a conversation where he was like, I wasn't really trying to beat you. And then he's like, okay, I'm cool. But they Beast Boy was like, I'm traumatized. And then they're just like, he's not anymore. Like, there was so it's the same thing that happened with, although worse this time, with Superboy, is that he hits him with the kryptonite. Hits the doll with the kryptonite. It's messed up. Everybody agrees that you know, Superboy's like, I'm not gonna be with the Titans anymore. Then he's just like, there's more important things. I'm good now.
Yeah,
you get on the RV. So you can blow kryptonite in my face again? No, bro. Let's talk about this.
Yeah, the kind of, all right, so he spends, I understand that he flows in and out of being like Bruce Wayne or being like Batman. But I thought that was what he was doing last season. So now he's doing it again. Now, I mean, I guess this is something that, you know, we all fall into our old habits, but I feel like we can't really have a Titans show until Dick Grayson is able to just be himself. Right. And we're tied down to this Batman character that we're never going to see as Batman. I don't dislike the father-son type of conversations that we get. I think those are cool, but the longer he's around, the more of a plot issue he becomes. Yeah. Unless he just fully retires and Damian becomes Batman, but that's the only thing. There's no Damian. Okay. Speaking of no Damian, they also acknowledge a couple things in this show. So we know that there's a greater world, the Justice League has existed or whatever in some form or some way. It was nice to hear about Roy Harper.
Yes.
So I was like, okay, cool. But can we get some help? Or maybe Roy was like, nah, bruh, we ain't doing that.
You had old girl from Argus come down. That was enough, like, I guess.
You on your own. You know what I'm saying? We ain't down with that no more. Nah. You know, you're on your own. That we ain't helping you do nothing. Well, we done did all the help. We gonna let you do. This
is a bigger level threat than it's that same old conversation where it's like, you know, where are XYZ?
Because Argus gets involved, and I'm like, well, like, why didn't Argus take out the cops? Like, right. I mean, essentially, I guess they did at the police department, but there were cops on the street, like, shooting at civilians. Like, well, I mean, I guess Argus was like, don't worry about it.
They stepped in far too late. Like, even they were there.
Because I'm like, if V was there all this time, I'm like, V, when was you going to activate your Argus powers? Like, when
over here, like, hold it. Okay, all right.
Yeah, when were you going to ring the bell? Like, the annoyance. That's what I think a lot of people in this show deal with, is that there's this genuine annoyance with the show that it's not that the show is bad, but it's so mid that you just get frustrated watching it because of what it could be.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's mid.
It's always like this close to dropping it, but then you're like, but they could, or you have glimpses.
Like, they could be good.
Yeah. You see Doom Patrol, and you're like,
it's like, look, man, they're doing things.
Right.
Look at Doom Patrol. Look at Young Justice. What are y'all doing?
Can you say Azarath, Metron, Zinthos once, please?
She's never going to say that. I'm letting you know. She is never going to get it. She ain't never going to say that. I don't know why she's never going to say it. I don't get it. Like, the perfect time to have thrown out that statement was when she was getting rid of her father. Like, because then that would have let us know, like, oh, when she says this, that means she's going, like, Omega level. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then that would give them excuse to say it and also explain to us why she doesn't always say it.
I say it all the time.
Yeah, because like the Azarath or whatever, that's when she's going like God mode.
She's going to get it.
Yeah.
I had a glimmer of hope in Themyscira, but that was it. That was the last bit of hope. I was like, well, maybe they would teach her. I'm just so disappointed in how they portrayed Themyscira. It felt like a lack of respect almost. And I'm like, how dare they?
It didn't really seem
I don't
grand.
think it really built on her character at all. I don't think it really brought her to a point that she really understood, because she was still making a few jokes when she came back. And it's just like,
yeah,
you didn't get strong. Like, I'm like, then that didn't help your character at all. So
yeah, I mean, to a certain degree, she came back with more skills, I guess. But she
got paws now a little bit, which is
but
sure,
you're right. It doesn't seem like she grew. Like, and Donna, shouts to Donna. I think Donna's cool anyway. But even in her situation, she was like, all right, cool, I'm back, y'all. I just shook the death off me. I ain't worried about that. Like, no death effects at all. Like, if you dead and you come back to life, you just good. Like, you don't feel aches and pains or nothing. You just like, I'm all right. Homegirl was taking full electricity, like, whatever. And then
at least a little residual fear. At least a little residual fear, because she said when she was in purgatory, whatever you want to call it, she's like, the way I died is not how I wanted to die. I kind of went out like a punk, and it's like I didn't want to. Like, so it's like when they were literally when she went to go grab onto the light, and they're like, "Girl, you sure? You don't want to die again, right?" And she's like, "Watch." I'm like, oh, okay.
She was like, I ain't worried about that no more.
She's like, because I just find a bridge again. I just find a bridge. I'll be right back. I do it again.
Now, since we kind of talked about everybody, what is it? Jenna James does bring up, she says, who y'all think will be the villain for season 4? Ra's al Ghul, Fearsome Five, the Hangman, Terror Titans. I wouldn't mind going back to, mind going back to the kind of like season 1 where you had like some kind of like secret society, but I don't know if they can handle it like that, and I don't even know if I want to watch that, like, because I'm on the fence. Like,
I'm thinking Ra's al Ghul.
Probably because they dropped his name so much.
They've name dropped it at that point, and they waited till like the finale. They name dropped it. I mean, we got Lazarus Pits out here. We're kind of hitting at some stuff. So that would be my thought. Which, I mean, that's always a cool villain to have. But
and then
once you do that, it's kind of
because you get a whole bunch of ninjas with it. So. But then you still, if you bring him in, you can essentially bring in Damian.
That's what I was thinking.
And you can have that issue with Damian and Nightwing, sort of. Talia doesn't really serve a purpose, but for Batman, though. So Talia's not really, maybe they'll play it like she's not there, or maybe she's dead or something like that. I don't know. It's just weird if we use the Titans have their own villains. Yeah, the Titans have their own villains. I get what
you're saying.
And why don't all these shows
Batman? They can't escape the Batman curse.
Yeah, it's like they keep using Batman villains when they don't have to. Like,
they name dropped Selena Kyle too. Not saying that she's gonna be like a villain, but it's just like you know that Batman's still gonna be around because they're putting all these little other nuggets. That he's still got to take in Tim Drake at some point, like to give him the Robin name. So it's like that they still got to be up under Batman next season to a certain degree. They have
he's not, because Nightwing isn't going to make him Robin because he doesn't have the, I don't know, he doesn't have the authority to make. I mean, I guess he can. I mean, you can name.
He wouldn't necessarily want to. I don't if he wouldn't necessarily even want to be honest.
Like, you got moves, kid. Does he? We seen him jump kick one person. And matter of fact, you weren't even there to see that. Nightwing. So how do you know he has moves?
We just know he's savvy. That's it. Yeah, we just know he's savvy. He's
savvy.
He's savvy. He's on YouTube.
He's a smart kid.
That's what he said.
God. Yo, man.
He's on YouTube.
Man, homie had the oldest electronics, but knew like everybody's secret identity. Like, I guess but his dad was a cop. Like the way they
didn't know his son had a whole layer underneath the restaurant.
Yo, okay. All right. You're a cop and your mama is like a restaurateur or whatever. This is their restaurant. their basement, it's just downstairs. It's not like you didn't do nothing. Like, it was just downstairs, man.
In your storage room, what y'all really cooking?
They never went downstairs ever.
You didn't take no inventory?
Never.
I don't trust it.
I guess the pantry isn't down there. Maybe the pantry is. I don't know. Seeing the stuff you had to do to make this work. Like, okay, so all right, they have a restaurant and they made a lot of money, so they were able to rent the space beside them, and they made that space beside them their pantry and whatever. So the basement was always free, and they never went to the basement anymore because they weren't using it anymore. And then Tim, see all the stuff that you have to like make happen for people not to go to their own basement ever.
You ain't wondering why the power bill's so high?
Yo, homie got mad. I mean, I guess them old like compact computers, maybe they don't use up a lot of electricity.
They use more. What you talking about? These
DOC
parents be like, why
energy efficient?
Light so damn high?
They want energy efficient.
No,
they never heard like when you was
they
trying
hear
to
that
connect.
AOL login down there. Bing, bing, bing.
Homie still using the AIM chat trying to figure out who people's identities is. Like it's not fun. It's not fun watching this show anymore. And I said it last year, but I think this time I mean it. I don't know if I can come back next year, y'all.
You know you had the energy.
I don't know if I can come back next year. My question is, are you coming back next year for season 4? And to Ninja, before we get out of here, I want to know from you, are you coming back next season? If yes, why?
I'm coming back for season 4. I'm going to give it, with an asterisk, I'm going to give it 2 episodes. No, they usually drop 3. I'll give it the 3 episodes and see where we're at. And then I'm going to make the decision if I drop it or not.
All right.
Depending on how bad it is. Because if it's any worse than what it is now, I won't be able to stomach it. But as it is right now, I can hate watch it. And I like to hate watch stuff. I'm a very bitter person. Yeah. What can I say? Glutton for punishment.
I don't know, man. I'll see. It depends on what that season trailer is like. But the only thing is the season trailer always be good.
Yeah.
It depends on what that season trailer is like, but I'm not holding my breath for a season 4 at all. Like not even close. As you can see, he's not holding out any hope for season 4 either. So with that said, to the chat, to NERDSoul Light, to everybody out there, Ninja Yo-Yo, Ninja Cosplay, where can they find you?
I am Ninja Sama Cosplay. I am available on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at The Ninja Cosplay, and wherever fine books are sold. iTunes, yeah. No, I'm on none of that.
I'm on none of that. All right, big shout out to everybody in the chat: Jenna James, Antoine Allen, Andre Adkins, Arkham Sandwich. Silhouetted Animator. I don't know if I saw Tyler Bennett, but I did see Tiffany Little up in there. And if I missed you, it's not on purpose. You know what I'm saying? Shouts out to all the lurkers as well. So, NERD, SOUL, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all them places, put that thumbs up. Give them a thumbs up. Show them a thumbs up. All right. Or you give that thumbs down. Hit the thumbs down. There you go. Up. If you like what you see, or if you hate it, but make sure to share this to your mama, grandmama, cousin, everybody. I don't care if they work in the restaurant or if they work in the basement. All right, they can work all places. Make sure to subscribe. We got a podcast and all that good stuff. Later on, we're going to be talking about Young Justice tonight at 7 p.m. PST. I'm going to leave y'all with Parker P.L. Lewis and Arcatron and NY sign, apparently. But from us to you, thank you for watching. And you want to say peace?
Peace.
What? Really? So who else but Spider-Man? Who else?
Peter Parker.
Peter Parker?
And Mother Earth.
Miles Morales. All right. Y'all heard it from me. And mom, of course. So much love, y'all. We out. Peace.
I'm the man, yes sir, that killed the bear barehanded so the people won't forget it. Getting money for our legal to drink. I care what a broke nigga think.
Just like the pack of Lewis.
Look, everything I do so cold. I can do this, both eyes closed. Too sharp, I stay on my toes. About that guap boy, anything goes. Help the bear if we outside. Help the bear if we outside. Still tipping, baby, nothing changed. I'm still grinding over here, yeah. Still sliding through my own lane. Shorty, nothing funny over here. Dollars rain everywhere around me. Dream to get money. Made it through the storm, living sunny. Dreams came true, now we eating. I got more dreams to chase, gotta reach them. Trying to put a team together like the Hunger Games. Everybody grinding cause we all came from under pain.